Today we will study the economic importance of bacteria. So bacteria are both useful and harmful. In useful bacteria, we study about bacteria which are used to produce yogurt and cheese. So we can say in the food processing and milk industry. So in milk industry, milk is converted to yogurt and cheese making. In this, lactobacillus helps in conversion of milk to yogurt, and in cheese making, in addition to lactobacillus, several other fungi are also used to produce different flavors and different varieties of cheeses. Then in food processing industry, there are several things like sauerkraut is formed, kimchi is formed. In this, various salads and all are pickled, and in this pickling process, bacteria are used to produce fermented products which have a longer shelf life and they have a different taste in the flavor. So these are kimchi and sauerkraut. Then in addition to this food processing, bacteria are used in production of organic acids. Like acetic acid. Acetic acid in diluted form is used as acetone. So this acetic acid production by Acetobacter aceti. Then in wine making also bacteria are used. In wine making, grapes are fermented to produce wine, and also other barley and other malt extracts are also used to produce alcohol. So in this wine making process, again bacteria are used. Then other than that, in biotechnological processes, what are the biotechnological processes? All these are methods of biotechnology. Biotechnology means using living organisms, harnessing living organisms to produce something which is further used for human benefits. So all these things like food processing, production of organic acids, industries, then enzyme production, all these come under biotechnological uses. So these are all there are several uses in biotechnology where bacteria are used. Then some other useful bacteria, we can say that nitrogen fixing bacteria are there. You all must be knowing that nitrogen is present around 78% in our atmosphere, but it is not freely used by plants. In its atmospheric nitrogen is not taken up by plants. For that, nitrogen fixing bacteria, for example, Rhizobium, the most common one, which is symbiotic. It is a symbiotic nitrogen fixer. It is present in the soil and roots of leguminous plants. Associate with Rhizobium to fix nitrogen in the root nodules of leguminous plants. In addition to this, in this process, like nitrifying bacteria, those nitrifying bacteria like Nitrosobacter, Nitrosomonas, Nitrococcus, all these help in production of usable form, the fixed form of nitrogen in the form of nitrates and nitrites. So nitrate is the form in which plants can take up the nitrogen. So these nitrogen fixing bacteria help in the uptake of nitrogen by plants. Then in the retting of fibers, you must have heard of jute fibers, then hemp, flax. All these fibers are are of economic importance. So for separation of these fibers in the form we need to use them, bacterial rotting is done, and this word is known as retting of fibers. So for this, the fibers are placed in large tanks of water, and culture of bacteria are used so that they separate into individual fibers. So this retting of fibers is also done by bacteria. Then tanning of leather. To produce leather goods, the animal hides have to be processed first. So for processing, the hair have to be removed and the hide should be in the form in which it can be further used. So for that, again, bacteria are used in the industry for tanning. So these are all many of the important, economically important, useful bacteria which are harnessed for production of useful products. Now harmful bacteria are those which are mostly disease causing. Pathogenic bacteria. So these and the others are which cause food spoilage. These are saprotrophic bacteria which cause food spoilage. So they are very commonly, like if your fruits and vegetables are lying in a place which is not sterile or so, many of the times you find that they've been spoiled, and these spoilage of the food materials is caused by bacteria. It can be on milk and milk products, it can be on fruits, it can be on vegetables, it can be on meat, it can be on fish. On everything, bacteria can cause spoilage. And mostly you will find that the vegetables and fruits have some symptoms of oozing, like the juices of the fruits or vegetables come out and the surfaces are they appear like whitish in color, discolored. So these are the saprotrophic bacteria which cause food spoilage. And disease causing pathogenic bacteria, diseases can be caused in plants, in animals and in human beings. In plants, the very common pathogenic bacteria are, for example, Xanthomonas oryzae, which causes paddy blast. Then Xanthomonas citri, causing citrus canker. So these are common diseases which are caused in plants. Then also soft rot of vegetables by Erwinia caroticura. It causes soft rot in vegetables. So these are common pathogenic bacteria in plants. Then when we come to animals and human beings, several diseases are quite common between the two, and lots of pathogenic bacteria are present which cause several diseases in animals and human beings. One thing I want to say, in food spoilage also, there are several anaerobic bacteria which cause food spoilage even in canned and tinned foods. For example, Clostridium species which are anaerobic, and they cause anaerobic food spoilage in tinned cans which are canned under high pressure under vacuum. Even in that case, in the absence of oxygen, they can cause the spoilage of those food materials. So it's said that whenever you find canned foods which are tampered with, which have some kind of gas formation, they should never be used. Same is the case with milk and milk products which are packed. And now in the disease caused by bacteria in animals, you have leprosy, you have tuberculosis, then typhoid. Typhoid is caused by Salmonella typhosa, leprosy by Mycobacterium leprae, then tuberculosis by Mycobacterium tuberculosis, then anthrax, Bacillus anthracis. So all the diseases which we find in human beings, they can be acute, they can be systemic, they can be chronic. So like tuberculosis is a chronic disease, typhoid is a systemic disease, and one thing also I had to tell you, in the beneficial bacteria, they produce antibiotics. So when we came to the disease part, I had to tell you this, that antibiotic production is a useful action of bacteria. So the Actinomycetes group, for example, Streptomycin produces streptomycin. So antibiotic production is also an important part of beneficial activities of bacteria. These are the useful and harmful